Breaking news, chaos at Adam Schiff's victory party tonight as protesters interrupt, shouting down the congressman who won tonight's primary to advance to the U.S. Senate race in California.
And breaking news that those protesters you see there during Adam Schiff's speech. Let's get straight to our Laurie Paris, who is live at the Adam Schiff event there in Hollywood.
Laurie, what's the latest tonight?
Yeah, definitely not the watch party and election results party that Adam Schiff and his supporters were certainly wanting, I'm sure, tonight. As you said, almost as soon as he started speaking, crowds of protesters on either side of the stage started to chant. They were chanting "Ceasefire now, let Gaza live," to the point where they were drowning him out. I'm sure you noticed that the congressman had to pause and was appeared uncertain of whether or not he should continue. I understand we do have some sound from that protest as it began. Yeah, that was, they repeated that over and over, ceasefire now and let Gaza live, as Adam Schiff's supporters tried to drown them out. At one point, they began their own chant, chanting Adam, Adam, Adam. The congressman did continue to try to speak, but definitely he appeared rattled. The people behind him on stage also appeared stunned by what was happening. It was chaos on the floor in front of the stage, and even after Adam Schiff finished talking, the chants continued, and there were some altercations, verbal altercations on the precipice of becoming physical among the crowd that was standing before the stage. That being said, Adam Schiff did briefly try to make some comments, thank his supporters, and make a push towards November.
But I also want to acknowledge again my great gratitude to all of my wonderful supporters. I want to acknowledge the right of our protesters, and I look forward to working with you all and onward to victory in November. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, and you heard him there. He was trying to acknowledge what was going on, repeatedly saying, isn't it great that we live in a country where this kind of protest can happen, but certainly a rattling moment, and not, of course, probably the one that he wanted to mark this win. And his campaign now, the race continues, of course, against Steve Garvey with Adam Schiff. We are live in Hollywood. I'm Laurie Paris, back to you.
Laurie, thanks. Certainly some drama there at the Schiff camp. Here's a look at those results tonight. Republican Steve Garvey and Democrat Adam Schiff are advancing to November to fill the U.S. Senate seat held by the late Dianne Feinstein.
And I think it's really important to note tonight, too, as well, that this is the first time in California history in 30-some years that there will not be a woman in the Senate. Well, former Dodgers star Steve Garvey is used to hearing cheers from large crowds, and he got a lot of them from his supporters tonight.
KCAL's Leslie Marin is live there at the Garvey headquarters for us in Palm Desert. What's the very latest there, Leslie?
Chauncey, Susie, well, as you can see behind me, it has pretty much cleared out here. Just a small group of women, Garvey supporters, do remain in this ballroom, but it will be a long 8 months. But tonight it's about celebrating this milestone, making it to the general election. I want to get to some video because this room earlier tonight was packed with supporters, family, including Sheriff Chad Bianco, who was the one who actually introduced Garvey on stage. Garvey was also joined by his wife and 2 of his sons. Absent were his 5 other children, but he spoke about what the next 8 months will be like, facing off against his toughest critic, Adam Schiff, the opponent who spent millions of dollars on an ad blitz campaign against him, while Garvey has yet to spend any money on TV ads. Take a listen to what he said.
They say in the general election that we're going to strike out. My opponent has been advertising that he wants me, and he's mistaking kindness for weakness. He's like the pitcher that throws me 70-mile-an-hour fastballs and then watches me run around the bases.
Of course, Garvey there alluding to his career with the Dodgers and the Padres. Now, he also spoke about the issues he is most focused on. Those were closing the border, being more tough on crime, and addressing the homeless issue. There's been questions on whether Garvey, running as a Republican, will work with others on the other side of the aisle, his Democratic counterparts. He says on his first day he wants to meet with all 99 senators and ask them to work with him. Of course, the question now is, can Garvey become the first Republican to win a Senate race here in California in more than 30 years? We will see. Reporting live, Leslie Manning, KCAL News.
Leslie, thank you. Now, KCAL's Michelle Gili is live now at Katie Porter's election night headquarters there in Long Beach.
And Michelle, Porter spoke to supporters just a few minutes ago.
You can see behind me, guys, that the party has slowed down quite a bit since Katie Porter left the stage. You know, it's notable to bring up that her daughter, Betsy, who's just in middle school, is the one who introduced her tonight, telling the crowd that her mom always puts her kids first, that in Congress she may be known as the congresswoman who is always on a whiteboard, but at home she's known for her crock pot cooking. That's what Betsy told everybody, and the crowd just loved her. Then, of course, Katie Porter took the stage and thanked those supporters and said that because of you, we have the establishment running scared.
While the votes are still coming in, we know that tonight we will come up short. Let me also say this. Our opponents threw everything, every trick, millions of dollars, every trick in the playbook to knock us off our feet. But I'm still standing in high heels.
Specifically, Katie Porter told the crowd that special interests and billionaires spent $20 million to keep her out of the Senate. That's the latest live from Long Beach. I'm Michelle Gili. Back to you.
Meanwhile, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's race is also getting a lot of national attention.
That's right. DA George Gascon's progressive policies on crime is controversial in some circles. Gascon wants another term and has a very large field of 11 challengers. And that's the largest in LA County history, in fact, including some of his current and former deputy DAs, as you see here. The results right now, 22.9% for George Gascon. Nathan Hochman, a former federal prosecutor, with 18.1%. And Jonathan Hatami, who's been a very vocal, outspoken prosecutor in DA George Gascon's office, with 12% tonight. Deborah Archuleta with 9.4%. KCAL's Ross Palumbo and Jeff Nguyen are covering the DA's race tonight. Ross is live in Pasadena.
And Jeff is in Brentwood at Nathan Hochman's election night event right now. Jeff, you just spoke with Hochman, right?
Yeah, I spoke to him a little while ago, and he believes that he has locked in one of the top 2 spots in this race, which allows him to move on to the general election in November. And speaking of Hochman, we should tell you that he is the candidate that has raised the most money in this race. He is a former federal prosecutor, defense attorney, and the president of the LA Ethics Commission. The current third place holder is Jonathan Hatami. He is an LA County prosecutor who is best known for winning convictions in the murder and torture cases of Gabriel Fernandez and Anthony Avalos. Both of these men blame the incumbent for a spike in property crimes like those headline-grabbing smash-and-grab videos that we have seen go viral in recent years. So let's hear from both of them about how they are feeling so far with their standings.
But right now the votes are trending so that I'll be in the top 2. I very much look forward to a general election matchup against Gascon. We're going to put his record on trial.
Comfortable that no matter what happens, I could put my head on the pillow, look my kids in the eye, and say, hey, you know, Dad did the best job that he could. We ran an honorable campaign. My supporters fought as hard as they could.
So Hatami says that if he does not move on to November, he plans to stay at his job and continue as a prosecutor at the DA's office, while Hochman says that his internal polling today reflects what we have seen so far with these returns. For now, we are live in Brentwood. Jeff Nguyen, KCAL News. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much. And now let's go to our Ross Palumbo live in Pasadena. Ross.
Well, Susie, it's interesting to hear from Nathan Hochman. You know, he spent $2.75 million in this race compared to George Gascon's $437,000. That is just a fraction, but yet, as you see from the numbers that you were just talking about, George Gascon is ahead at this moment with 23% of the vote. You know, he is so confident that he was going to do well and make it through this primary to the general that he's not even holding an election watch party tonight. I'm actually at one of the 11 challenger Jeff Chemerinsky's watch party here tonight. I did speak with Gascon, though, before he left. Take a listen. You feel confident?
I feel as good as anybody can feel in an election, right? You know, Bill Clinton used to say you either run unopposed or you run scared, right? So we're not unopposed, right? But the reality is that what I feel very confident is that we have given it everything that we have. So whatever happens tonight, it was intended to be, and it's really up to the voters now.
Well, at this moment tonight, it does appear that it's going to be Nathan Hochman and George Gascon, but it is still very early. In fact, Susie, George Gascon is not even speaking anymore tonight, and most likely won't speak tomorrow because he knows, like many people know across the entire county, that this is so close and so contentious. He wants to wait at least a day till all those votes are really in to see exactly how this is going to shake out. The next step from him is going to be to focus on the challenger moving forward. He says he's hoping to get in more policy debates and really speaking directly to one candidate instead of 11 in this historic field. Those numbers keep coming in, and we will be out here all night long till we get a little closer to a result. For now, though, that's the very latest live from Pasadena. Back to you.
All right, Ross, thank you so much. Now to the race for the White House. Donald Trump and Joe Biden appear to be on a collision course for a 2020 rematch.
Each of them picking up hundreds of delegates on this Super Tuesday. Nikki Haley also getting a win tonight as well. KCAL News political reporter Tom Wade is covering the presidential primaries for us.
So, Tom, take us through the latest numbers here in California and nationwide then.
Right, and, you know, as we've been talking about, first off, neither candidate could clinch the nomination tonight, but they can come really close, and obviously they both, you know, basically swept, you know, essentially. I mean, obviously, as you said, Haley won Vermont, but that was pretty much it. So former President Trump has been dominating the night, as was expected. So let's take a look at the delegate count right now. And you can see just to my left, Trump is at 938, Haley's at 79. The magic number is 1,215 on the Republican side. And as I said, neither candidate will win their party's nomination tonight, but, you know, they'll both get pretty close, especially with a win here in California. So here is the California, the numbers right now. CBS News is projecting that Trump is the winner of our primaries. You take a look, he's got 75% of the vote, really taking it away tonight with 789,000 votes, and Haley only about 20.7%. The polls did show Trump very far ahead here, so this is not a surprise. It's not like this is unexpected. Trump also picked up projected wins over Haley in Texas, Oklahoma, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. As you look at sort of that national map, that's all of the primaries, not just tonight's, but also across the country. Haley, as we said, did edge out Trump in Vermont to score some delegates there. Haley did not speak tonight, but Trump did make an appearance at his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida, giving a victory speech to his supporters, ripping into President Biden and praising his campaign for the victories.
This has been a day that we've been waiting for. I want to thank my family for being here. It's a great family. I have a great family. I read an article yesterday where it said this is one of the finest run campaigns that anybody has ever seen. That's pretty good, right?
And President Biden is the projected winner in California as well. No surprise again, as Biden has no real strong competition. He also swept the night on Super Tuesday states across the country. He released a statement tonight about his likely competitor. If Donald Trump returns to the White House, all of this progress is at risk. He is driven by grievance and grift, focused on his own revenge and retribution, not the American people. All right, let's take a look at our decision desk in New York. This is the CBS News headquarters, and they are crunching all those numbers, gathering the numbers tonight, sharing everything with us live as they happen. We're bringing them to you. And here's one we'll look at that total here. Again, in the GOP race, we're showing it to you because obviously there's still two people in the race as of tonight. 938 for Trump, and Haley coming in with 79 as the night has progressed. 1215 again is that magic number for Trump to clinch the nomination. So here we'll see what happens in the next week or so, but that is the very latest. Susie.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Two big initiatives on the ballot, one statewide.
And also one in L.A. Let's start with Prop 1. We know Governor Newsom pushing for this prop very big, even doing commercials to drum up support here. Prop 1 provides $6 billion in bonds to build 10,000 new shelter beds and also provide services for people experiencing drug addiction, mental health illness, or homelessness. This needs 50% plus one to pass. You see it there, passing yes, 52.9%.
And LA City Measure, HLA, stirring up a lot of strong feelings both for and against. Now, Measure HLA would require the city to redesign thousands of streets with new bus lanes, bike lanes, or wider sidewalks. Supporters say too many walkers and cyclists die on LA City streets. Critics say HLA could cost billions, slow emergency vehicles, and other projects could be shelved because of these mandates. And you can see here, 65% saying yes tonight.
Yeah, I'm surprised at both of those, especially Prop 1, because homelessness, when we talk about addiction, such a complicated subject.
Sure.
And when you talk about more buildings and more beds, you know, folks were talking about that and they need the help. But then on the other side, you know, a bond measure in this day and age with interest rates.
Sure. That means taxes.
Yeah, that means taxes. So, yeah, it's surprising to see that much yes on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, a heated race in LA's 14th City Council District. Kevin De Leon is now fighting to keep his seat after the City Hall racist recording scandal. Remember that? He's now facing 7 challengers.
And KCAL's Joy Benedict live tonight in El Sereno with more on the 14th district race. Joy?
Yeah, guys, I mean, this is a race that we've been following for quite some time. Very heated. 8 candidates on the ballot, including current council member Kevin De Leon. We know it's just very preliminary results right now, but you seem to be the top vote getter as of right now with these early ballots that they have been counting. How are you feeling about this moment?
I think we feel good. I think we defied expectations. It is early, without a doubt, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but we do feel good. We worked really, really hard during the course of this election, but even harder being the elected representative of this great council district, City 14.
And I know this has been a tough road for you, especially with this scandal from about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now, and you said, we're going to keep fighting.
It's been painful. It's been difficult. The death threats, being spat on, being yelled at, you know, consistently. But what I told my team is that we're not going to capitulate. We're not going to buckle. We're going to actually, you know, continue to grind away. We're not going to fall into paralysis or into a fetal position. And I think as a result, we have actually delivered more interim housing for unhoused neighbors than any other elected official, citywide for that matter, in the state of California. So I'm so proud of my team. My team is fantastic. We're going to continue to grind away. And the voters, you know, will have me to go into the run-up. We're going to work just as hard, if not even harder.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin De Leon. Enjoy your night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Obviously, as we mentioned, he is not the only person on the ballot, and we were just a few miles away with Miguel Santiago, who is also on the ballot. With these early results coming in, you could see he was celebrating with his supporters there. He is coming in second right now with the early results of the numbers that we are seeing, and we did get a chance to speak to him as well about how he is feeling about his campaign at this moment.
70% of the people so far have said they agree with change, so we feel very good about the numbers, and we look forward to continuing our conversation with voters.
Yeah, how do you push forward for the next few months?
Well, you knock on doors and you show the record of the things that we have done and the things that we can accomplish when we have actual change. So we feel good about it, and we thank all the voters, and we encourage always everyone to vote.
But again, we need to specify these are very early results, but certainly a very heated conversation and a heated debate going on here in CD14, which we should mention is one of the most diverse in Los Angeles. 250,000 people running from downtown, Skid Row, El Sereno, Boyle Heights, all the way up to Eagle Rock. So certainly a lot of people watching this very, very closely.
All right, Joy Benedict, thank you so much. And now to our Mike Rogers at the desk, who's keeping an eye on the vote counting inside LA County's new vote processing center in the City of Industry.
Mike, how's it going so far tonight?
Susie and Chauncey, so far so good. We are starting to see those ballots kind of trickle in, and we're also starting to see a lot of activity start to move in inside the ballot center. And I want to give you an inside look from the voting center. This is a brand new, massive facility. This used to be an old Fry's Electronics in the City of Industry. Now, LA County used to do this in a couple of different locations, but because this year they sent everybody in LA County mail-in ballots, they said, you know what, we really got to combine this and we have to do it all in one operation and make everything smoother. So I want to point out what you're seeing here. Now, on the bottom, you see those machines. Those are part of the counting machines and also where they'll do signature verifications. And look, that's a sheriff's deputy walking on the right side of the screen. This place armed and secured 24 hours a day with 24-hour surveillance. You can see how massive it is, hundreds and hundreds of people. I want to show you another look. We actually have a photographer that has been, we're working on getting that shot right now, but this is the shot from inside. But I want to take you to KCAL because look what KCAL's got right on cue for us. This is the Sheriff's Department helicopter bringing in the ballots. So once all the polling places close, they kind of gather all the ballots together and then they're driven to whatever the nearest airport is. This one specifically was coming from the Van Nuys Airport, so you can imagine it's a bunch of the ballots from the San Fernando Valley that are being brought in. So what they're going to do is they're going to circle around, and I'm going to ask Des, I know we're following the helicopter, but I kind of want to see if we can see the ground where they're going to be bringing in those ballots, because they've got this whole situation really set up in the parking lot here of this old Fry's Electronic, now the LA County Voting Center, right off the 60 freeway there. And as Des zooms in, that back half of the parking lot where it is all empty, you see those lights. That's the landing zone for the LA County Sheriff's Department. Now, once the ballots get there, they will then bring them in to be sniffed out by canines because they want to make sure that there's nothing suspicious going on in there. Then they'll be brought into the voting center where hundreds of people will handle those ballots, move them through the processing center, and get all of those votes tabulated, counted, and put where they need to be. So it is quite the operation that is going on out there with the LA County Sheriff's Department, the voting LA County Registrar's Office as well, in this brand new facility out there in the City of Industry that used to be a Fry's Electronics store, but is now home to one of the largest here in LA County. So guys, as we come back out here to the desk, we're going to watch the sheriff's helicopter land. We're going to monitor the situation out there, but so far so good.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. So interesting to see that.
Very
by
interesting.
boat, by helicopter, by car.
And as my first time covering, California and LA, that was interesting to see.
Yeah, just the whole process, right?
Yeah.
Well,